Yeah. And good morning again, or actually good afternoon. Welcome to the Diversity is the Game Changer from Norway, from sunshine, Norway today. Oh my God, this is so perfect. And I'm so grateful, honored, and thrilled to welcome my guest today. It's Bruce Hancock. Hancock, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Valeria. Lovely to be here.
Thank you so much. We tried to schedule a couple of times. Actually, this time I'm really, really looking forward to so many subjects we are going to discuss, especially in our diversified show, because this legendary person is really, really diverse. So you will experience that in a minute. And the title of our episode today, From Passion to Purpose, The Power of Diverse Minds with Bruce Hancock. Welcome to another transformative episode, the podcast where we dive deep into the power of differences and how they reshape lives, teams, and the world. And like I've already mentioned, today's guest nothing short of extraordinary. Please welcome again globally renowned leadership expert, master team strategist, and the visionary founder of Naruna Retreats. With 31 years of experience across continents, from Australia to Europe, Middle and East, Southeast Asia, Bruce has helped shape the DNA of iconic organizations like Microsoft, Facebook, Singapore, Key Travel, and Prudential. Bruce is not just a certified Marshall Goldsmith coach, a deeper strict signals assessment practitioner. This will be special questions, very interesting for me, and a passion map facilitator. He's also a trailblazer in performance psychology, economics, and business management. Your signage program, Team Mastery, and immersive retreats empower leaders to foster authentic transformation and measurable change. Welcome again, and let's dive deep into your story and explore how all you are doing actually impact our world, and I'm sure it impacts so positively. But first of all, of course, before you have accomplished so much, we all actually has our roots in our childhood, and our childhood has long lasting echoes on our adulthood. So I would like you to take us a little bit back to the
hmm
let's put it like this, country, kingdom, I don't know, a little Bruce. How was this part of your life? So thank you so much. So thank you, please. If you could reflect a little bit, elaborate about childhood and how actually it shaped the way you're showing today as a person, leader, coach, human being. Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. Thanks, Valeria. I just wanted to mention just briefly there, as well as the Naruna Beyond Retreats, the transformation around that. I'm also a partner with Seabourn Floating Properties and the blue economy and the climate, responsive design around that. So yeah, and gratitude is a big part of my life. So, people who have inspired me, entrepreneurs, leaders like Sam Nelson, Willem Nijmegen, and Richard Brady. I always like to just point out in that sense of gratitude. Yeah, growing up for me in New Zealand from the age of, well, I was born in 1960 and I stayed in New Zealand until I left when I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Looking back, it was a tough environment to live in, to be honest. I lived in a place called Wainuiomata. They call it the Black Hole. It's over the hill in a valley and with 20,000 people. Um, and yeah, quite tough and challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Often going to school, often bullied, um, and growing up around that, it certainly helped me to understand diversity, because growing up for me, I experienced diversity not just as a concept, but as I lived reality within my own family and the community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, uh, being labelled a white-skinned Pakeha in New Zealand set me apart in one way, while at the same time, it carried a rich Maori heritage through from my great grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And this duality almost shaped my understanding of sort of levels of diversity. My mother, she embraced it. She celebrated our Maori connection, nurturing that pride and inclusion. While
Mm-hmm.
my grandmother, I remember to this day, when especially when I was 4 in the bath and she was washing my hair, and I'd ask her, Ma, we called her grandmother, um, are you part Maori? And then the nails went deeper into my skull a little bit. It's like, no, don't talk about that. It's like,
Oh, wow.
um, so yeah, my grandmother chose to hide it, reflecting that tension and in a sense, the history, the identity, the societal pressures. And then this contrast exposed me early to how diversity isn't only about external differences, but also about complex, sometimes conflicting narratives within families and cultures. When I was a little older, gosh, I remember. It's funny how you have memories of very young childhood. I remember being at school and I was a chubby, a snowy haired boy.
No way. You was
And
a chubby.
yeah,
Okay. Actually, me too. Okay.
oh, really?
Yes, when I was a
Wow.
baby, I was huge, little King Kong. Yeah.
and
Mhm.
and I was at school, and the teacher, her name was Miss Savage. I remember that. It was quite ironic, and she thought she'd come up with this little song, and they put people in a circle and me in the center, and then they sing the song. Bruce is a fat little Eskimo. It's like, can you believe it?
No
Doing it this day
way.
and age. Yeah. So I hid the emotions and I ran home after that and locked myself in the bathroom. Wouldn't come out for some time. But yeah, those sorts of uh, stories. And as I got older, and my father died when I was 12, um, I bought in this limiting belief that he thought I weren't good enough because I was into acting, poetry, speaking. That was on my mother's side, but he was very strong on the sports. I
Mm-hmm.
played the rugby, I played all that. I weren't that great, and I weren't that passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't say forced to. That might be too hard, but felt like that. Um, so as I got a little bit older and I started believing in these limiting beliefs, I wanted to get back at those who'd harmed. Um, Cut a long story short, when I left when I was 19, I said to my mother, I want to leave. I want to travel around the world. And she said to me, I love you, but I think it's good you go. So so it was a beautiful. She was a very strong and heartfelt woman. So I went on a traveling, and I called it the traveling as the University of Life. First stop was in Australia, then Alice Springs, putting up 60-foot windmills when I was 19, through to Europe and various other places. Staying in Europe for 8 years, France for 4 years. um, yeah, lots of experiences along the way, taking too many risks, ending up in hospital in the south of France for 5 months from being
Oh.
attacked by a bull, in an arena, trying to take on a challenge. I was a holiday rep at the time. So, yeah, just taking on a bit too many things. And then these sorts of patterns went on, and even though I felt a sense of freedom with all the travel and the experiences, it was great. I realized at some point, it was in my, I would say, early 30s, I thought, the pain is still there. I
Mm-hmm.
want to do something about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I I was seeking help, support. I did some psychotherapy for 18 months,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, tried to really look at what that was in me that I was holding on to and what I needed to let go of in order to have the life that I truly wanted to have. It's always evolving. It's evolving all the time. clients I'm working with now on a day-to-day day-to-day basis, the businesses that I'm involved with. It's the people, it's the connections. So yeah, I learned from my childhood, growing up, I learned how to look after myself.
Mm-hmm.
I learned about pain. I
Mm-hmm.
learned about inflicting pain from within, and what that can do, and the impact that it can have, how it can push others away, how it can bring people closer. Um, I reacted when I was in situations where I felt there was a bullyish tendency there, within either working relationships or not. So yeah, it taught me to stand on my own 2 feet,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah, I haven't returned to live there, though I did go back around 4 or 5 years ago to visit my mother, who has the dementia. And yeah, I just found a little bit nothing wrong with New Zealand; it's beautiful, but I just found it a little different. Um, I couldn't, for me, live back there, especially after being in Asia for 25 years. Um, so beautiful place, beautiful memories, beautiful, enriching opportunities for my life to grow and keep growing and evolving, that I passed on to my children, who's Rio, he's 13, and Amy, she's 22. Yeah. So life is an evolving journey, right?
Exactly. First of all, thank you so much for sharing honestly your story. I do appreciate it a lot, and I can relate very much to the experience you been mentioning through the childhood, also about bullying, about being different. Maybe it was not like ethnical background for me, or not something
Mm,
which cultural diversity from kids or community I've been living, but it's been like patterns or how my parents used to behave, or what my father, he was addicted to
mm,
alcohol. And then when you live in community, like big blocks with 9 floors, and all
wow.
6 entrances, all kids go to the same school, and everybody play in the same ground yard arena, then everybody knows the story, and the parents and behind the scene stories of every kid, right? And then you are very easily
Yes.
bullied, and I've been targeted all the time. So I can relate very much about living limiting beliefs, not being good enough, not worthy
Yes.
enough, and pain that you can carry the whole life. And I've been carrying it the whole life, and started a little bit curated maybe 15 years ago, when I was officially diagnosed with OCD. But you know yourself, all these
Yeah.
patterns, they how you call it, spectrum or disorders, they are so like connected all in each other, and actually so many roots to the childhood and the trauma which you
Mm,
actually didn't cure in time. But who can be focused on that when you uh, grow to survive, just survive first 10 years, maybe even 20 years? You don't have awareness yet that actually something inside so deep should be really from the root itself cured, right? So I can
yes.
say that much. So thank you so much for your sharing. I'm so happy that you had, of course, very sorry that you lost your father so early, but I'm so happy that your mom, she gave you this unwavering support and let
Oh,
you
amazing.
go. Because sometimes also travel alone, knowing that somewhere there on the distance you have kind of lonely mother, then it's also not very good for
Yes.
your
Yeah.
I know, attitude, self-esteem. But when she said I love you but please do go, so then it's much easier, right? To have this blessing from your mother, to discover the world and yourself through the world, and like and as alchemist to come at the some point just back to
Mm.
your roots, and with all this package and luggage of your university of life experience, right? So thank you so much. And tell me please more, of course, and you can choose very freely actually, because you
Yeah.
um, have been evolved involved, experienced that much, and I know you already. I'm so blessed you started from gratitude and to so many people, and I'm sure you have that long list. You can thank these people, and you can choose yourself now what kind of actually areas domain you would like to underline. I mean, business and seaborne and maritime industry or another, and how they all this diversify experience now like really like flattened in all activities you are doing now. But for me it's very important, no, yes, important and very interesting to know a little bit more about what is signals assessment practitioner and passion map facilitator. And I know that you've been working and cross fertilized with teams across cultures, industry, and ideologies. How diversity of thoughts enrich it, all these processes you are actually in charge of or a part of. So I have
Mm.
many question actually to give you all the ways to choose yourself, but just if you still remember a little bit the path of diversity and this deeper signal assessment practitioner and passion map facilitator, I would be very grateful. Thank you.
No, wonderful. Thank you. You capture it very well.
Thank you.
um, amazing. Uh, yeah, with the passion maps or oceans, they're tools. They're personality survey or assessment tools that I use at the forefront of either one-to-one uh, coaching or team leadership development programs. And they're simply a tool. There's nothing amazing. Yes, they're an effective tool, but it helps us understand what are my strengths that
Mhm,
that I need to keep doing. What are those strengths? What do they look like? How do they play out in life, in professional and personal world? I see it as a holistic playground. Um, and and what are my values? What do I stand for? So, what are my top leading values, and what are the environments that I'm best suited in towards? So they're able to get a very clear picture of their uniqueness.
mhm,
What often happens in organizations, you hear organizations talk about, oh, this is our culture,
mhm.
these are our values, this is our vision, this is our mission. But essentially, they're words on paper.
Yeah.
It's the people. It's the people within that
Mhm,
shape the culture. It's their behaviors. It's their combined values. So, how can a talented individual come into an organization full
mhm,
of life, color, not always, but they're often I've seen, full of color and real desire to do great things? How can they get lost?
mhm,
How can they trickle away to emptiness in an organization?
mhm.
And the reason often around that is they're not being seen in who
Mhm.
they are. So
Exactly.
what are their strengths? What
Mhm,
are their values? What has meaning for them? How can they play that out and celebrate that with other people within that community? Um, it's the same type of thing. I work not so much now, but I do two programs a year. I take international school students
uh-huh,
into hill tribe communities like Hmong, Lahu, Lisu Lodge, communities where we do we understand each other's lives. Now the students they come from supportive, I would say wealthy families, but
mhm.
supportive families. Um, they get impatient really quickly, and the hill
Okay.
tribe communities don't seem to do that. Uh, I do an experiential activity, and the young 14-year-olds get very frustrated, and in their mind, they lost. How could they lose? They're thinking. But the Hill Tribe community don't have an education like us.
No.
So when we process that, the 14-year-olds realize they spent too much time proving to each other they had the right answers.
Mm-hmm.
They spent too much time trying to be the leader. They spent too much time not seeing who they have in the team, how they can communicate.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, these types of things, I just jumped into that, but it's the same thing. It's understanding strengths. There was a company in the UAE I worked at and there was a lawyer who was an incredibly successful lawyer from the States. But for some reason, well, she just lost who she was over the 6 to 8 months, and that
Mm-hmm.
was due to the leadership. So it's really working with the leaders in a community, working with the leaders in an organization is the key to understand who they are and the culture that they're creating and the impact it's having on the people. If there's a willingness to do that, we can do great things. Whether it's a community, whether it's a company, an organization, or a country,
Exactly.
it's a
Yeah,
trickle down. Yeah.
exactly. Because like you saying, so perfectly underlining, we should really start, I believe, with leaders, because actually what even the word to lead means, it's actually to show the direction and to be facilitated, but to facilitate that
Yeah.
everybody who has their core values, strength, they are taking the right places to be fully like expressing their um, strengths, right? Like a football team.
Yes.
It should not be competitive arena. It is collaborative arena.
Mm.
It's how to complement each other, right? And leader, it doesn't mean he or she should be like really the first or the most important, because actually it just, this person has these values which can really be so useful for the whole team, maybe to find the right A person to A spot, B person to B spot, right?
Mm-mm.
So like you've
Yeah.
mentioned, these 14 years guys or girls, teenagers, they really use so much energy to compete, but they have to live that the whole life. We live in society, in communities, in tribes, and actually we need to find the place how we, what we have, our talented to complement, but it's a process,
Yes.
right? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Mhm.
Beautiful. No,
In,
and
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
sorry.
your turn.
No, no, no. I was just thinking that in the same or similar program to that with the international school students, we were at a school and there were around 80 young children who were so excited to see these 14-year-olds from Bangkok, and they're traveling there. And there was such a buzz and excitement. Um, and there was one particular boy who they gravitated to, and but he wasn't reciprocating that so much, and
Hmm.
that's okay. But they, when we left in the open truck, they were running and waving to him and saying goodbye, and really excited. And I noticed he ignored them. um I didn't mention anything to him at the time, but after a few days, I sat down with him one to one and just asked him around that and around the excitement of those children and how he may have been perceived to them. Um, and he said, "Oh, I don't really care about them." Oh, so and that was a great thing, because after that we had a reflection time. Otherwise I go into too many details, but we had a reflection time, and it was a month later. he sent back an email saying, after reflection, he's learned a lot about himself. If he wants to go through life like that, it could become a challenge. So he wants to change something. So yeah, it was those experiences that shape our life experience, but also help us move forward in a sort of a positive way. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, reflection, it's everything. It's like really
Mm.
I think for me now it's the key for actually the whole life, because now you probably also the same stage that life is not what is happening around us. It's actually our reflection and reaction, even responding and attitude towards that, right? Because situations,
Yeah.
they can be the same to, for example, three different persons, and three different persons can relate and take attitude and what they are doing with these situations. For somebody it can be really crisis, for somebody it can be
Yeah.
endless process of lessons, learning, evolving experience, right? So it's so important to reflect, but maybe not maybe, but especially when you are that young age, it's so important to have coach, mentor, other person who can help you maybe to train your reflective brain muscle, because when you grow up at that age you just discover, explore, you don't reflect that much actually, right? So could you tell us me a little bit and us our audience? I understood that
Mm.
we started talking that you've been traveling road around to University of Life, but about your actually primarily business and the whole career, because now I understand that there are so many things I mentioned, but how was it evolving? Like your, I mean, professional career, maybe study a little bit in your main domains, uh, and of course,
Yes.
how diversity and inclusion, inclusivity, inclusive thoughts have been playing the part in the whole your professional career, and of course, professional and personal life. They are so uh,
Oh, yes.
cross fertilization, in cross fertilization the whole life actually.
Absolutely.
Yes, and maybe you, I mentioned already this is seaborn, and I'm sure it's also a little bit connected with eco conscious choices and sustainability. So if you also would
Yes.
like to elaborate about these dimensions, so please welcome.
Yeah, no, wonderful. Yeah, well, it was the journey when I was doing the psychotherapy for myself in Sydney,
Mm-hmm.
around 35 years, maybe a bit more. It was at that time I became very interested in personal development and performance psychology that I studied at the Australian College of Applied Psychology.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that for 4 years. At the same time, I was working. I had a business in Sydney, and it was a combination of personal training. I was also massage therapist, sports massage therapist,
Mm-hmm.
and a counselor for trauma. But I had a business that was the personal training, counseling, coaching, and 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 massage. So when I finished the performance psychology, my topic for my thesis was psychoneuroimmunology, looking at our belief system and the impact that it has on our bodily function.
Okay.
Uh, so I started with my massage clients. They would ask me, "Oh, Bruce, I know I'm your massage client, but I know you do coaching as well. Um, is it okay if we do both?" And
Uh,
I said, I'm okay if you're okay. And when I'm not, or you're not, let's communicate that. But let's put some boundaries around that then. So when we're doing the remedial massage, let's not talk so much about things,
yeah,
but
yeah.
let's move that into the body work. And it was really fascinating because that's where I really captured the evidence there of of the emotions that getting trapped within the bodily, function, or the tissues in the body, and there was some remarkable impact. So alongside of that, I was working with Microsoft at the time, in Papua New Guinea, taking Microsoft leaders on a 10-day track in the Papua New Guinea, and it was all developmental, and doing fundraisers for the Northcott Society for these children that needed computer systems. So that was more of an NGO, financial reward for that, for what they needed. I had some challenges from the personal side, in a relationship there, and she was going through some massive trauma, and so unfortunately she made a choice, and that wasn't what I wanted. And I had an opportunity to go to Thailand for a holiday for 2 weeks. So when I was in holiday in Phuket in the year 1999, nearly 2000, I was staying at the Laguna hotels, and I was running, and the GM of the Sheraton Hotel, we were running together. We got chatting. He heard about some of the work that I was doing in Sydney. Not that I was famous or anything, through the Northcott Society fundraising. And so he said, we're looking at setting up a 9-acre experiential training center. Would you like to do that? And I said, I'd love to do that. So that's where it started 25 years ago in Phuket. I did that for 4 years. And ever since then, it's always been involved with people. And business is people. So from there, I worked in training and development. I was the director for the Banyan Hotel Resorts, worked for the Sheraton Asian Oasis, which is sustainable program design. So yeah, it was always around business and people. So yeah, what I do now with Naruna and also with Seaborn is working with people, working with a product, yes, but the most important thing is, who are our partners? Who do we want them to be? What are their values? What are our values? What do we stand for? How can we collaborate? So collaboration is a big part of what I do in any of the business units. And programs that we're running at the moment with leaders and teams in the south of Thailand, we're bringing a leader and a team to get them to understand on a much deeper level. It's like the book that I created a few years ago, and I have several leaders that I've worked with in the UAE, as well as Australia, Thailand, and elsewhere. And it's the leader within. It's who we are from the inside. What's our life story? How has our life story evolved and helped us to become who we are today? That diversity and that inclusion within that itself. I've had clients say to me when I ask them in a one-to-one session, "Oh, it'd be wonderful if you could share me a little bit about your life story," and they will say, "My life's not that interesting." So I suggest to them, let me be the judge of that, and I'd love to hear. Because we all have a beautiful, rich story. Sure, some things might be a bit more dramatic than others, but every story is unique, and that's that beauty of what we do. So yes, most of my time today is focused on building relationships, connecting with leaders and teams and organizations, helping younger university students find themselves aligned to the careers that they think or know that they want to become involved in. So yeah, getting them to just park for a moment what parents want from you, but think about what you want from you. What is that career choice? Why is that so aligned to who you are? And so we dive into that process as well. So it's that I often say you know, the thing I've learned is that there's no single way to see the world. You know, we're surrounded by, you know, people who think differently, whether because of culture, their neurotype, background, life experience. And so it's expanded. If I think about how that's helped me, it's expanded my empathy. It's challenged my assumptions, and it's sharpened my ability to lead and connect. It took me many years, and it's still there. Nothing's perfect, but it's still there as a very high interpersonal sensitive person,
Mm-hmm.
as I am, that has its strengths, but it has its challenges.
I
Uh,
know, I'm the same.
so,
Oh, no,
yeah.
tell me, I know what you mean. Oh my God. I know all this. Oh, wow, yes. Mm.
Yeah.
That's why
So,
gratitude, and practice, 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 right? So,
yeah.
oh, yes. Tell me, actually, it's so cool because you started with gratitude, and I love that. Also, and I'm practicing now, I'm training my gratitude muscle every morning, and journaling as well.
Yeah.
And for me, it's actually cool because tomorrow I'm participating in a podcast by a special exquisite lady, and she will be asking me, and we will be reflecting, elaborating actually about gratitude, and
Yes.
also about interconnectedness between gratitude and confidence, actually, because her TED talk and the approach how to find the confidence that you should practice the muscle of the gratitude, and she has developed
Mm.
a special technique which is called grasp. It's gratitude and other things, but mainly based on gratitude for who you have been, who you are, and who you will be. And for me, it's very interesting because, of course, I have my reflection today. Will be preparing a little bit, but for me, it's also very interesting. Then, as long as you started the whole episode with gratitude, what are your approaches? What are your beliefs about actually gratitude, and how they or whether they are intertwined with confidence? Thank you.
Yeah. What a great question.
Thank you.
Confidence, gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I just automatically go to the inside. I know so many people that are so sharing, uh, confident on the outside, showing gratitude, showing the respect to others, but deny themselves of that goodness.
Yeah.
And just recently, just 3 4 days ago, that was the case. Um, it was this person was spending so much time trying to help others, you know, and protect others and feel for others, but they were not giving them the same amount of time for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we stop for a moment and give that self-care, the self-gratitude? What am I grateful for about who I am today? And that's something that I have not mastered. It's something that I am evolving with all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, building confidence. You can have a high level of confidence, the perception of others, but inside
Yeah,
could be a churning.
exactly. My
It's a
problem.
bit like
Because
calmness and turmoil.
yeah, it's age, right? It should be so sensible age between people pleasing actually and never ending people pleasing to get
Yes.
somehow self confidence because of that, but it should not be like that at all. It's not like, oh,
Mm,
I'm confident, I feel my worthy because I do that for other people. But it should be because
yeah.
you really, really go inside and feel really grateful for who you are, right? Not what you are just doing all the time for others. Yeah.
Yes.
Every
Yeah.
evolving process. Thank you so much. We are coming to the last topic, but very, very important topic for me. This is my passion advocacy now.
Yes.
You've mentioned already about neurodiversity, and actually the part of your thesis you've been involved in neuro studies, right? So many years.
Fascinating.
Yes, and for me now it's also really never-ending evolving learning. It's unlocking untapped human potentials, I do believe, and especially also now due to all political situation and the stress level and instability, all
Hmm.
people who actually neurodivergent and on the spectrum, they are even more, and like you and me, very high and sensitive persons, right? So
Hmm.
vulnerable. So how do you believe we can make more understanding, sympathy, celebration, embracing towards neurodivergent people for creating more inclusive societies, communities, environments, working place? Because there are still a lot of stigmatization, taboo, right? And us and them.
Oh,
And yeah, thank you.
oh, look, absolutely. It's a wonderful topic, and it's got so much depth in itself.
Yeah.
For a long time, for me, inclusion focused on, what we can see,
Mm-hmm,
um,
mm-hmm,
rather than, gender or language or culture. I work with so many different cultures in one week. Um, but I've come to realize that true inclusion in that sense also means, embracing what we can't see,
exactly.
how people process, how
Mm-hmm,
they sense things, how they feel, how they think. I have to take that into consideration in all the program design, all the business meetings that
mm-hmm.
we get connected to. So neurodiversity invites us to see the human mind not as a problem to fix. It's more, but as a spectrum of ways to experience the world. Um, some people are more linear thinkers, some pattern sort of disruptors, some
Mm-hmm.
thrive in silence, others stimulation.
Mm-hmm.
And all these ways of being have massive value. But our systems often reward only one kind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mm,
Uh,
true.
so, across teams, cultures, and generations, I've seen what we make space for, or the cognitive styles. We unlock the innovation, the imagination, the compassion, the resilience. So really, Um, I always think the neurodivergent thinkers often carry a kind of brilliance
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't fit the mold. Unless we adapt, we miss it completely. And this is a lot I talk to with HR development organizations
Mm-hmm.
who love to display themselves as one way, but then I go in and spend a week with them and I say, do you mind if I give you some honest feedback? And they say, absolutely. And I say, look, your offices are beautiful. The colors are magnificent. The entrance is explosive, but there's an emptiness within your people.
Yeah.
And it's that sort of discovery. Um, I created a model some time back. It's not patent or anything. I just share it openly. But I call it the open model.
Mm-hmm.
It's a human-centered approach to that inclusiveness. So the O is observe without judgment. Develop awareness of your own lens and what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
What can you do to create that? And then the P, prioritize diverse perspectives, diversity of thought being a bonus. And the E, embrace that neurodiversity and the cognitive differences. So we're not all wired the same, and that's our collective strength. And then the N, nurture safe, brave spaces for growth. Yeah. I think an open mind, an open heart, and open systems are what the world needs to grow. Personally, I think we all know that at some level, but and not but and leaders often fall into the trap of thinking they have to be different to who they really are. I have leaders saying things like, "Oh no, if I show the real me, they will take advantage of that." Well, whose opportunity is it to grow now? Is it theirs or yours?
Exactly.
So, and that happens from a top tier level down, not just in an organization, but a country and civilization. Why are we getting tested with so much around us now? What is the real core? What do we have to change? What do we want to keep doing? But what do we need to stop doing? That becomes the opportunity. Seeing that beautiful uniqueness. When I work for, I work with a lot of companies for many years now, and seeing them evolve isn't about, that they say to me in the beginning, our problem is we have a problem about retaining our top talent. And then I work with them for a while and I say, I don't think that's your problem. I think your problem is recruiting the right talent rather than just, yeah. So it's such a broad topic. And, I don't purposely want to go so deep, but I always like to look at it from the inside out rather than patching it up. And I think the whole thing around diversity is fascinating. Being the diversity of thought, of being, of brain is not a nice to have. It's the wisdom of nature. It's how we survive. It's how we thrive. It's that type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that answered in some ways.
Beautiful, very impactful, deep, knowledgeable answer, and I can also relate totally, particularly to your last comment that all the answers are always in the nature. Look how actually the nature survive and thrive because of biodiversity.
Yeah.
Exactly. And why then for us, we are kind of great minds. We have developed, I don't know, room stations, space stations, all this nanomolecular technology. And we cannot understand it, of course, because it's so easy to understand that nature so are interconnected in its diversity. It's how it thrives through the years, evolved, developed, survived so many different challenges, right? And why we believe we should be equal, or our brains or our brain wirings. Nature has created us with different, all of us, almost 8 billion soon, with all different fingertips. How can possibly be our brain can be equal and proceed the information equally, right? Yeah, so I'm happy we, by our conversation, can raise awareness and make a ripple effect of that though it's still, of course, cultural context and religion and politics, and especially now in US, backlash DEI, it's not, it's another topic, it's craziness, but
it's crazy.
It's beyond imagination. Sorry, but I'm so happy that you and me, by reflecting together, we can really make ripple effect. I do strongly believe, even if two persons like you and me cross the ocean can sit and really be so already like intertwined, connected, because basically we never seen each other, but now me and you were just talking like we've known each other for ages, because actually we are touching, we're the part of the holistic one truth, right? Gratitude, biodiversity, neurodiversity, empathy, compassion, and like
Mm.
you have mentioned so many times, they're the most important approach from going from inside out to out stimulation, all this, because everything what is happening, like Buddha said, it's it's impermanence, everything is changing all
Yes.
the time, and we cannot control that. It's not in our power, but how you proceed, how you attempt, approach what you're doing with all this impermanence, it's what we can train, and we have trained, like you and me. And
Yes.
self-gratitude, oh my god, I made in Soviet, who would ever mention that you should be thankful for yourself? Are you kidding me? You should just be functional for the system. You are not you.
Yeah.
You need for the system serving, that's it. Your personality, your wishes, your wants, your something. It's so great that now you teach these young people. It's not parents, it's not teachers, it's not systems, it's not presidents should teach and
Yes.
tell you what you're going to do with your life. It's your life, and it's so short. You should take care and
So
responsibility
true.
as young as possible, right? And we are grown-ups also. We now have like really possibility and commitment to do what we can do, even though despite the childhood we have, but now we can make choice. Now we are conscious grown up people with that, because so many people all the time they blame past parents, childhood, whatever, but what about you now? You're a grown up person. Maybe child could not change the situation, but you are taking every single day choice. You are now, you are grown up person, right?
That's right. It's like how to holding on to grudges actually help you move forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just I always think, and I say to my son and daughter as well, and I'm still evolving. My stuff is still there, but it has less negative impact, a bit more positive impact. So let's be the kind of people who make space for every kind of voice. Let's make that inclusiveness every kind of mind and every kind of story. That's,
Exactly.
to me, that's the world I want to leave for my children, one where they feel free to be fully themselves and to see the beauty in others doing the same. That's so much more important than collecting. You know,
Yeah.
uh, sure, money is an important factor to move forward. It's part of the whole society now, especially unless you, but and at the same time, let's just stop for a moment and say, well, how can we make this more harmonious in what
Yeah.
we're doing?
Exactly. This is the
Um,
key part.
yeah,
Perfect. Before we wrapping up, first of all, of course, I would like to thank you so much. It was amazing, deep, evolving conversation. And about collaboration, I have very funny partner which I'm collaborating, and in the end of every podcast, this is my vice president. You see.
ah,
Yes,
ah,
and we start from childhood. For me, always childhood is connected with magic and fairy
yes.
tales, right? And you know which fairy tale my vice president from, right? You know, you can see what it is.
Oh, yes, yes, beautiful. From
Yes, which fairy tale is it?
no,
This is Genie Lamp, right? From Aladdin.
oh, the genie. Oh, sorry, yeah, it was but blue underneath the name. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
the
So
genie. Yep,
that
yep, yep.
that's my joke.
The
This is
ge-
my yes partner and vice president,
Ah,
me and so my always last game and question for my guests. I really would like to help, or she's very tough one, resilient, small, but can make a lot of wishes, but not three for
yeah.
every person, because she would like to help as many people as possible. So she can grant one wish. So my last question for you today would be if you could make really magical wish or true wish today. Uh, for my beauty helper here, what kind of wish would that be?
Wow, that's an
Mhm.
interesting one.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I think my wish would be if we could all just stop for one moment and reflect on the beauty that is there inside already without thinking we need to do more, let's embrace that and let's celebrate that with others and move forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's powerful and beautiful wish, and I'm actually joining it with all my atoms and molecules. Thank you so much, or all the possible levels, and especially
Lovely.
neural level. So
Yeah.
thank you again, Sharon, for such deep wisdom today. Your insights into human potential, especially inside out, the strengths of difference, role of inclusive leadership, not just leadership, the state mindset, are a really game changer as our podcast. So I'm joining your last wish, which is also very aligned with my thought, vision, and gratitude. Like you started and like you finished, I really feel very empowered today and grateful for our
Oh,
podcast.
wonderful.
Hope one day maybe we can meet and do some ripple effect and
Loved it.
change. I love Thailand. I've been 3 times there. Oh my God, I love it.
Ah,
So I
wonderful.
always want to come back to this beautiful country of smiles, right?
Yes, yeah,
How they,
wonderful.
yeah. So, and to
What?
our audience, so you are more than welcome to reach out to me to know more about Naruna retreats and the uh, transformative practices and help and tools Bruce can
Yes.
suggest. So it will be the information on the post which I'm going to make, and
Okay.
text about our podcast will be on YouTube, on and LinkedIn and Instagram. So to learn more about especially your transformative retreats, Naruna retreats, right? So thank you so
Yep.
much, our audience, for staying
Thank
with
you.
us. Thank you, Bruce, for your deep wisdom, like I said. So just don't forget to like, share, subscribe, keep celebrating what makes us wonderfully different together.
Beautiful. And thank you so much, Valeria. You're an absolute inspiration, and I truly believe that this what you're doing is going to have such a beautiful impact for somebody's lives if they've got the courage and the humility and discipline to take action. Lovely.
Thank you so much. How
Thank you.
we wait a bit, how was it? No, it's in Filipino. I've learned thank you, but actually when I wasn't there, I always try to learn thank you on the native language and try to communicate, but actually I forgot.
Kopkun
Oh,
Kap.
yes,
Uh,
kapunka, of course, oh
or
my
Kopkun
God.
Ka for female.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, so my last one for today is kapunka. Bye bye.
Beautiful.
Stay safe. Hopefully,
Okay.
one day
Bye.
we make more ripple effect. Bye.
Love
Bye for
to.
today.
Bye for
Absolutely.
now. Bye.
Bye for now.